y'all, it's Alex and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here with day 3 of Inktober. Today's prompt is the word bait. Yes, immediately smacks my tripod. Yesterday's piece was mindless. I will link that in the top corner, and all of these will also be in a playlist, which I will link down in the description below. And why don't we get into it? So, just because this is bugging me, and I don't know if it'll bug anybody else, I ruined my desk today. In one of my other videos, I started talking about how dirty my acrylics palette was, and I decided to go in and clean it. And the only way I know how to clean these is using rubbing alcohol. And I found out that the paint that I used to refinish this desk really doesn't like rubbing alcohol. So we're gonna have to refinish this desk again sometime very soon. But luckily we now have a mostly clean palette. It's not as fortunate as my watercolors palette, but it's still better than it used to be. I've just been stuck in a point where I don't know exactly how I want to border pieces in. I know for one of these days in here I have thumbnailed in that I will not be doing a border piece, so you'll just have to wait and see which one that is. So today's prompt word bait was probably the one that gave me the most trouble thinking through it. So originally my ideas, it started off with this worm witch because it's the bait actually being a witch, but I'm kind of leaning towards, hold on, I'm going to zoom you guys in here. I have another idea. So what I'm thinking for this one, it's a little cute, but a little grim at the same time. These worms are actually witches. We're gonna put like a pond in the background. Maybe we'll have another witch down here. Actually, that's more how I draw snakes. Maybe we'll hide a skull in the background, because my thought is this person died and nobody moved their body. So these worm witches are using the bones of this person to accomplish their magic, which is why there's like a little metatarsal. Well, for it to be a metatarsal, it'll probably be taller than that. Maybe we'll have little metacarpals on each of the points. We're going with this. So we're gonna put mid-ground about here. So that's where all the grass really starts. I want it to be a little lower than that. Once again, I have refound my kneaded eraser, because if you looked at how much of a mess my desk is usually with shavings, it's a little crazy. I've never been a big fan of kneaded erasers. The only thing I like to do with them is the pull it apart trick, where it turns all pillowy. Other than for this purpose, I usually don't enjoy them. All right, so we want the shoe to stop about there. We're not actually going to see. Problem is my scale is off in this thumbnail. It is taller than it is wide. So with this scale, we'll have the shoe further this way. The skull will be over here, hidden in the grass. And then we're gonna move that worm over a tiny, tiny bit. So just for reference, I'm going to be taking one of my actual boots and putting it up on the table. Because why not? We're gonna give it kind of like this Converse placement sticker here, and that's gonna kind of be like what they use as a doorway. So this is just going to be the vague outline of where the grass will start. God dang it. This piece of tape off screen keeps raising up and sticking to my arm. I would be doing all of these little circles with a compass, so that way they'd be more precisely the same size. However, my compass has decided to run away from me. I have absolutely no idea where it's gone, which is very frustrating when this is probably the only time during the year that I actually need it anymore. Oh god, these are just getting bigger and bigger, aren't they? Thing is, I like the bigger size. Maybe I don't. Get these jeans or something trailing out of the back of these pants. The leg bone has long since fallen out of the boot. We're gonna put the skull a little further out here. Maybe we're gonna even give this person like a full pack that they were traveling with. Heck, no! My cord has betrayed me. So we're gonna technically be hiding all this with some grass texture. My pens are going to hate me. We're gonna get rid of the pond. And also this hill, because that is far too high up for it to make any geographical sense. I feel like that's too many clouds. Just sparse them out a little bit more. Now let's draw the circle down here. I feel like this worm was a little bit too big, so maybe we'll have a few peeking out from this doorway. I think this might be another, like, you know how for writers there's the Google search list of an author? You look up some weird stuff when you're doing research for your writing. I feel like I should make a list of all the weird questions I've asked myself when it comes to art, like, how does a worm ride a broom? Because that's the one that I'm struggling with right now, and boy, I don't know. Because I want to have more up here, but like, I don't know what. We're just gonna give all of these worms hats, regardless of the fact it doesn't make sense how they got outside of the eyelets without taking off their hats. Holy hell, what do stars look like? Alright, I think it is time for the boot to disappear from my desk. I think my boot also needs to be a little bit longer in this image. I want to make the shoe look a little bit more roughed up. I'm making earthworms act a lot more like inchworms in this case, but we're not going to focus too heavily on that. Alright, I gotta find my brush pen. That's the number 3. Here we are. Yep. Proceeds to throw it into oblivion. Started on the line art, which I'm probably going to fast forward the most through because I don't particularly have anything interesting to say. That I think that's the one problem with these single day pieces, or at least the one a day vlogging thing, where I don't exactly have a lot different to say in between the days. Like, yes, small individual things like me cleaning my desk and destroying it will happen. However, in all likelihood, not much will change. I mean, knock on wood, but still. Going to have to wait until I go in with the 005 instead of this 05 to be able to do their faces, because this pen is just not small enough for that. In fact, we're gonna save the background for in a hot second. We're gonna finish the foreground first. Oh, I also just realized how absolutely messy my hands are from cleaning the palettes. I unfortunately had to take off my nail polish due to work. I painted over my paint and chipped off a whole bunch of it, so hopefully I will be able to repaint either tonight or tomorrow whenever I get the time. I still feel like this worm here is a little bit too big, but maybe they're the grandmama worm. So while I've got time to talk and things are just kind of on my mind, I'm having so much trouble figuring out what my posting schedule is going to be like once I'm done with Inktober. I might take a little bit of time off after Inktober just to give me a mental break, because I have a feeling that this is going to drain a whole lot out of me, and I might just step back for a little bit. The thing is, I probably will also have other pieces to post on here, because I'm a busybody, and whenever I have a break day, I'll usually film at least 2 pieces, if not more. Or at least draw 2 things, if not more. Hold on, I'm going to flip my cap around. I'm paranoid that my hat's in half the shots. Alright, so that's the boot done. And I think I am going to keep this hatching texture in here, because I kind of like that. This pen is pretty much officially dead, so I think I'm going to resort mostly to using the paintbrush to achieve this grass texture. This is a little bit too dry. What are art words? So once I let all of the ink settle and erase all this, we'll come back and finish up the grass texture as soon as we come back. So here we come back in with my finally cleaned off palette. So I'm going to be going in with my smallest round brush and doing all of the grass texturing. The hardest thing about this texture is making sure that there's still enough definition of blades. So like leaving this white space is actually very important. And of course I started on the side that my hand will be resting on the entire time. Oh shoot, I just realized that I said I'd erase and then come back and do this grass texture, but oh well, we'll just have to remember that as soon as all of this dries, we're gonna have to erase. Right now is one of those times I wish that I had a good masking fluid. I've just never had very much luck with it. Alright, so I think that's about done for the grass. Maybe a little bit of more fine detail up over here. Yep. God. I will call that done on the grass texture. And we'll give that another few minutes so all of this can fully dry before we go in and start messing with the erasers. I felt like these little worm buddies were missing something, so I think I'm going to go through and give all of them little eyebrows. I wanted to do different faces on these guys. However, I tried doing bigger, rounder eyes on them, and it just didn't work at this scale, so we're just gonna do these little tic-tac shaped eyes. So I want to take a somewhat dark color and fill in the texture between the grass, because I think I'm going to make the ground all kind of a gray color. And I think I'm going to make the shoe a brighter color. I haven't decided yet what colors I'm going to make what. I think if I'm going to be making the foreground ground a little bit more of this dark gray, I'm going to need more dark gray. So let's mix more of that up real quick. That was way too much, but we will use it. And it still needs to be lighter. Gosh dang it. I need to go and get some empty bottles like this just to make washes, because I make so much of this stuff and then I just don't use it and I feel bad. Going to try to work very quickly in these patches just to make sure I don't get too many lines. One good thing about splitting up the foreground like this is it'll be easier for me to fill in all of the sections without stopping too many times. Like, this is dangerous territory where I have to focus all of my efforts on multiple places at once. If that makes sense. Now that that's come out of my mouth, I don't know if that actually makes sense. Darn it. I'm still getting this sort of texture. I don't like it. That was the most petulant phrase I have ever, well, the most petulant way I have ever said that. I don't like it. And of course, I have at least one spot where I couldn't make the colors match. Now I'm gonna go through the grasslands behind here. I want it to be darker than that. So I'm going to go in with this back here. So I'm thinking I'm going to make the majority of this piece the red color, because I don't particularly want to do a gray sky today. Then we're gonna take a little bit of the stuff that we just mixed up here. We're gonna add even more black to it, because we need darker. That might already be too much black. We'll see. Time will tell. So this is gonna be this hill color back here, because I'm making the grass fairly dark in the foreground, and I want to make sure that it continues to lighten in the background. The thing is, this is the color of the dirt, not the grass itself. Oh, I need to go into here and color in these. Good thing I realized that now, before we got too ahead of ourselves. So I kind of screwed up on some of the inking down here, but we will just live with that. Gonna go in with this pretty light color to do all of these rivets. Some of these did not want to erase, apparently. I think I'm also going to go in and paint the pant color with this very light. We have just about all of the gray that I want in this piece finished. Maybe, so if we go in with this darker color again and do all of the dark spots. All right, we have decided that the sun is coming in from this way, so all of the shading will be on this side. So there, I mean, we'll have a little bit of shading here, but we'll have to go back in with a white pen around this bone here. You know what, we're just gonna do that right now while I horribly distort my shot. We're gonna need to darken this up quite a bit. I don't like how light that is, but we will do that in a hot second. For now, we are going to go in with the Bombay India ink in crimson. I'm pretty sure, yes, that is the choice for day 3. I feel like this is one of the ones that I have better luck with as far as the Bombay India inks go. So we'll do full pigment to less. So just gonna test out what the full pigment looks like. We're gonna do this patch. Oh, I love this color. It's more pink toned than I would imagine a color called crimson would be. So I feel like we're gonna go in with the full-blown crimson color on a good amount of stuff in this piece. I really like this color. So like all of their hats are probably going to be crimson. The worms themselves will be a lightened version. Let's go ahead and, well, now let's go in with the normal color first. Proceeds to shake palette. I feel like this one doesn't color over the line art as much as the yellow ochre did yesterday. So since it is ever getting closer and closer to that special spooky day, I've been immersing myself more and more in, of course, the good mediums of the haunted season, which is the most extra way I could have possibly said. I've been listening and watching nothing but anything related to Halloween. Primarily my music choices recently have been the Beetlejuice musical soundtrack. I went to go see it in New York this summer, and by God, is it one of my favorite shows, if not my actual favorite show that I've actually gone and seen myself. And then, of course, there's the classics like Monster Mash and Monster Mash. And for whatever reason, all of my good middle school emo favorites are also on my Halloween playlist every year. I mean to get rid of them. They're so deeply entrenched in there that I can't bring myself to. But I'm always on the hunt for more Halloween songs. Do you guys have any recommendations for me? If you do, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. It's not light enough. I want to go in with like the lightest color I can possibly make for the sky. It's not the lightest color I could possibly make, but I do like that. And plus I will be able to sheer it out a little bit more once I grab more ink from it. And once again, I started on the wrong side of the page. My God. Gonna move my water aside. For this color being called Crimson, I feel like that's a little bit of a mislabel on Dr. P.H. Martin's part. I don't know, this very much seems more like a cherry red to me. And there's already a cherry red in this set. That's another color that I've also picked for one of the other days this week. Well, not this week. I don't think it's tomorrow's, but I could be wrong. I'll be able to check once I'm not rushing to finish the sky without making horrible textures. I'm loving this bubblegum pink color, which is very rarely a phrase that you'd figure would escape my mouth. All right, so we'll have to go into some of the spots I got over into the clouds on. However, I think that's going to work out just fine for that. I think I'm gonna go in with this next darkest color for the worm. Nope. Nope, don't like that. Alright, I want the worms to be lighter than this. That is a lot better. I think we're gonna go with the exact same color as the sky, which it's a very good thing that none of the worms are actually overlapping the sky. Okay, maybe a little darker. Let's see. Let's test out this color for the boot. Because I do want the boot to be red. Yeah, I like that quite a lot. Trying to fill the area quickly, but that's not working. Okay, back to the other brush. Oh man, there's so many lines here. But hey, I mean, this is a pretty old boot. I figure it might have some discoloration in places. Which actually, since I'm running out of ink, I'm going to make that a design choice. I think I'm also just going to make those rivets white. Just color them back in with a white pen. No, don't like that. I think this is so far the messiest I've been. Yep. Oh. No, almost gave myself a heart attack. We'll see if I need to recover any of this black down here once all this is dried. My paper is starting to warp quite a bit. I really don't know how to fix that other than just heavier weight paper. Smudge up where the red meets the black through there. Maybe also a little dirt. Same for on the shoes. Just muck them up a little bit. Wow, that's just not permeating in through this ink at all, where I put it on really thick. The lighting is kind of whatever, but at this point I'm a little bit too tired to really argue with myself. Now I just realized that my computer has been halfway in the shot this entire time. Oh well. So now that I'm looking at it, I'm hoping that this piece makes sense for today's prompt. When I think of bait, usually my first thought is about worms, just because I grew up and did a whole lot of fishing. And so I wanted to see whether or not I could take worms and make them into witches. And I hope I'm not being overshadowed by the glorious sounds of tape being removed. Proceeds to rip the entire top of the paper. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's piece, and I hope you're excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow's word is freeze, and I'm very excited to get started. If you'd feel so inclined, hit that subscribe button and check me out on my other social media handles, and stay tuned for tomorrow. Thanks, and I'll see y'all in the next one.